This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star in Frisco.
First down.
Jason Witten is in the end zone.
Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it into the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Taylor Stern.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Talkin Cowboys on Talkin Tuesday, and we are in the SWBC Mortgage Studio as we get ready to talk about all things Cowboys. Of course, it is the first date that NFL teams can designate franchise or transition players, but before that, I know we've had a lot of questions about the NFL Draft being hosted at AT&T Stadium starting April 26th through the 28th this spring. And for the first time ever, obviously it being in a stadium, you have the opportunity to actually be entered in a ticket lottery, which launched today, which is very exciting. And there's a couple of important dates I want you guys to all know. You guys ready for the draft?
Go for it.
Did you already register?
Oh, I didn't yet, but you're right, Mick, because they have to register for the NFL.com Fan Mobile Pass.
That's right.
Did you register?
I'm going to take a chance that they're going to give me a media pass to this thing.
We'll leave
That's
the ticket
true.
to somebody else.
Yeah.
Take your credential.
Right.
Yeah, maybe you could give away some tickets or something.
I didn't see any, like they said, people involved with the Cowboys can't register.
That's true. So today's the first day, and Mickey's right. You have to register because it's a lottery. And until Wednesday, March 14th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, very specific, fans may register. And then after March 14th, register remains open for the NFL Draft Experience, which is something that you could do around the stadium, but it's not actually in there. And then late March, you're going to be randomly selected for seated tickets, which will be received in an email notification and instructions for confirming attendance. So
Now, if I wanted to register, where do I do it?
NFL.com/fan mobile pass.
Okay.
So there.
Better get on it.
Can I
It gets you a ticket inside the theater.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Yeah, before everybody, yeah, exactly. Before everybody gets mad at us and the Dallas Cowboys, we have nothing to do with this, right? The lottery and all that stuff like that. It's just our building. Am I
It's
correct?
just our
It's the
building.
NFL
yeah.
draft.
Don't
It's
get
not the Dallas
don't
Cowboys
get mad
draft.
at Brian Broaddus or Mickey Spagnola or Taylor Stern or Rob Phillips. We have nothing to do with this. This is all about the NFL.
That's very
Or
true.
Jerry Jones.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
I will say there is an added, I think, rivalry factor there for Cowboys fans because they put in the release a record-breaking 250,000 fans attended the NFL draft in Philadelphia. And of course, we know what Drew Pearson was able to stir up over there. So
Oh, yeah.
I think the rivalry factor here is we can bring more than 250,000.
No doubt. They mentioned, they're going to use the outdoor plazas. And they said it's going to be the span of 26 football fields. It's going to be the largest free festival ever created by the NFL.
Festival.
So
Free festival.
I want to know who did the head count on 250,000 people.
Just clicking away.
Yeah. I don't know, but if I'm going to
Estimate.
I'm going to take if you get
I'm going to go 300,000.
if you host the draft the next year you win the Super Bowl. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for right there.
I like that logic, Brian.
Did not happen for Chicago, though.
No,
That's
we'll kick
true.
Chicago out, but I'm just saying, hey, I'm just going on 1-for-1 here. If you host if you host the draft, then maybe you get a chance to win the Super Bowl.
It's a new day.
It's a new day,
A new day. There, new possibilities.
new
But
possibility, new day, all that stuff.
this is great, so go do that. But there's still a lot of opportunities and different things that we're going to have on our site. Of course, we're going to have the draft show going.
Absolutely,
You,
yeah.
Mickey, you guys are going to be doing your show that you do all throughout the entire coverage. Is that correct?
I don't know that yet.
We will have details to come.
Yes.
But we'll have so much on DallasCowboys.com. It might make you feel like you're here. If
Yeah.
you don't get randomly selected. And then, of course, the Star in Frisco will
Absolutely.
be open for tours. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure it'll be
Come and
crazy
check it out.
there.
Yeah. If you don't get to go in, I mean, you can hang outside. It sounds like they got a lot of neat things. But if you want to, come on by and see. Because I do know we're going to be doing the 3 days of coverage here from this studio. So if you're actually touring through and stuff, here we are. Come by
And
say
I
hello.
think what people need to understand is it's going to feel like, even if you're not inside the stadium, you're inside the stadium because of all the big screens
That's true.
outside.
Right.
And, if I remember correctly, the places that they had seating for in Chicago and Philadelphia was only like 6,000 people.
Yeah, I think the largest, I think 6,000 was the highest number they'd had for a crowd there. So, yeah, absolutely.
And I think there might have been, I don't remember the number at, like when they did it at Madison Square Garden or Radio City Music Hall. But this is going to be the most people that'll be physically watching the draft. Because as Brian pointed out, if they're giving out 20,000 tickets and you get to bring one, that's 40,000.
40,000 folks.
That should be able to be sitting in the stadium watching this deal.
It's anything with AT&T Stadium's going to break records. The Super Bowl did. WrestleMania did.
Did you bring that up?
Yeah, of course I did. And this too. I mean, that's
concerts. They've had some concerts that have done very well there as well.
If it involves the Cowboys and AT&T Stadium, they're going to do it up big.
And my understanding is not only will they have seating in the stands, but there will be a section for each team to have fans on the field, so on the draft floor.
It'd be a good spot for you to be, Mickey, with a mic.
With a mic and
just kind of talking to people. Yeah.
Oh, let's do it.
And then jump over the barrier and harass other teams.
Like
people. Yeah.
We'll have a better broadcast than the NFL Network.
Absolutely. Well, and I
count on
think
that.
Just goes to note again what we've always talked about on here is that Jerry Jones is rightfully in the Pro Football Hall of Fame because, as most people know, hopefully by now, that he was the first NFL owner to allow video cameras into the war room to change the way that people had access to the draft, to see behind-the-scenes access. And now I think it would be unfathomable. Is that a word?
Depends what you're going to follow it up with.
Yeah.
To think that we wouldn't have cameras in the war room now. He's a game changer, and he's going to do that again by hosting the draft here.
You're right.
Raise the bar once again.
Stadium.
Yeah, Philadelphia did a nice job. I mean, it looked like they had a good, the crowds and stuff like that.
That's off to you, Philly.
No, they did. It looked like it was good. I mean, we were trying to pay attention here, from where we were sitting. But the Cowboys, the league, everybody will do what they have to. Like Rob said, the venue's just too nice not to have this spectacular event at.
And we talked to Charlotte about this a couple weeks ago because they announced DeMarcus Ware, Drew Pearson they're the community ambassadors. There's going to be a lot of youth outreach programs leading up to the draft. She reminded us that they've hosted the CMAs too. So they have experience almost with that type of setup. I don't know if the stage is going to be exactly the same. Probably won't, but that type of award show environment. So it's a really flexible
red carpet stuff.
Yes. Just had another idea for Mickey. Red carpet.
Red carpet
Mickey would be good too.
You're kind of on the front lines.
Yeah.
Of course, only that Thursday
Why not?
that they really do that. And then you're going to be kind of asking these guys what they're wearing.
Yeah.
Yes, Mickey Seacrest.
What they're wearing. Oh, the players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important to them.
Who can outdo
Is that
each
a
other
Hugo
with
Boss?
the suits?
Now it's like Tom Ford.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I love it.
I'll have to shave for that.
No,
don't ever shave.
Don't ever shave?
Oh, never again.
So some guy.
you might not even have to wear a tie, Mickey. I've noticed that you don't have to have people don't wear ties anymore.
Some guy that works out where I do in the morning, he doesn't like the Cowboys, so he came by and he says, got an idea for you. Why don't you just say you're not going to shave until the Cowboys qualify for the playoffs? I said, oh, okay, really funny.
Sounds like that guy laughs at his own jokes, which I do too, so I understand.
Unfortunately, I didn't laugh with him, so
there you go.
think he got the idea.
The stone face.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. All right, well, that's very exciting. Again, the address is what, Mick? It's NFL.com?
/fan mobile pass.
Good luck to everybody.
Yes.
Good luck.
March is enough time to book your tickets here. On
Absolutely,
American
yeah.
And don't you need to do that anyway to be able to get on the grounds?
I don't know.
I think
Even if you're in the plaza?
Yeah, I think I saw
Go to
that.
DallasCowboys.com where we wrote an article about this as well.
Yeah.
Yes. All the details.
Who wrote it?
David Hellman.
Oh, okay.
Good info. But aside from that, today is an important day in the NFL offseason because, of course, as I said, it is the first day to use the franchise or transition tag on a player, and you only have one, and you have from February 20th to March 6th. What does that mean for the Dallas Cowboys?
I think they're going to take their time. I think we'll probably talk to Jerry and Steven about this before they officially franchise DeMarcus Lawrence if indeed they can't get a deal done with him.
Indy, right?
Yeah, I think they'll wait as long as they can to try to get something done. I think there's some cautious optimism. Maybe they can. If they can't, then he will get, as you said, Tay, he can get franchised by March 6th, and then you've got until July 16th to get a long-term deal done. This happened with Dez 3 years ago, and it just buys you more time, basically. And Steven has come out and said they want to get a long-term deal done with him. They look at the franchise tag as a last resort. So, and, typically players don't love playing. It's a lot of money for a one-year guaranteed deal, but they don't love playing on that tag. They'd like some long-term security. So maybe both sides can come to agreement on something.
Call me at 2 p.m. on March 6th.
Yeah.
That's when the decision will happen, you think, Mick?
Well, it has to, it's got to be done by 3 o'clock, and there's no benefit to doing it today at 3 o'clock.
They'll just take these next 2 weeks and see what they can do.
It's just open to start, but you're going to do some serious negotiations here in the next 2 weeks.
Would you like to put odds on that one?
On it getting done?
Yeah.
Like a long-term deal?
Sure. Knowing what you know right now, where your starting point is, and I kind of have if I had handicapped, I would say that Zach Martin has a better chance of getting a long-term deal done
before,
just because of the groundwork that they've already laid with him, the discussions and.
Yeah, I would be more surprised if D-Law wound up with a long-term deal by March 6th. That seems pretty aggressive. Not that they haven't maybe talked about it, but again, really, like the timetable's mid-July. They've got 5 months. It's not 2 weeks. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think Martin's got a chance to get done sooner than we think, maybe.
Well, if I just had to handicap.
But the only pressure that's on them is to be able to clear money off the salary cap so they can, when March 14th hits.
That's a good point.
You don't use it all basically everything you have to franchise DeMarcus Lawrence.
Let me with what you just said then. Maybe I'm wrong about handicapping it that way. Does it all of a sudden turn around and say, okay, that we need to get, because of the higher price for Lawrence, the one shot, the $17 million, does he become a priority over Martin as far as getting it done?
Yeah. I think your premise that it would be easier
just because they've already covered
Martin done
because the groundwork they've already laid.
And they know where it is.
Right.
I don't know if his agent knows what the market value might be for DeMarcus Lawrence. Like if somebody said, yeah, I'll give you 2 first-round picks for him, but you got to come up with a offer sheet. Like, what are they going to offer him?
Right.
And I don't know if that's been established yet or not.
Although it's the same logic, right? Getting Martin done does the same thing for you in terms of spreading out that cap hit.
Yeah, but not quite as much, I would think,
as $17.5 million.
Yeah.
For Lawrence.
I think if you signed Martin to a long-term deal, that 9.3 might get reduced in half, so you get about $4.5 million. Lawrence's would be more significant because you're going to give him a signing bonus, spread it out over 5 years, and that first base salary doesn't have to be that much. So, and a lot of it comes down to not the total dollars, but what's guaranteed.
Right.
That's huge. And how much you're going to offer him? Are you taking the dump truck and backing it up to the front door and just say, okay, here it is.
I like that imagery.
All this money into your house.
That's pretty much what it is, though.
Right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Although 1 year, $17.5 million, you could
Why,
that check in front of me, and I'd.
Why is there a negative connotation? Because you believe that you deserve a long-term deal in this.
Well,
I think it's
you don't get your money up front.
Yeah,
you got to work for your money.
Right.
Imagine
work
that.
for your money.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's a song.
And then here's the other thing. What if? And I know this is what the players think. What if you get hurt? And while the $17.5 million's guaranteed, now I got to go into free agency next year.
Yeah.
And if they don't tag me again, if I have some sort of serious injury, what market value do I have to market myself?
That's true.
Anthony Spencer.
Yeah. And it happened to him, right?
He signed that thing 2 years in a row just like that, though. It was like $12 million back then.
And then he got hurt, I believe, in the second year of it.
He did. And then it was
never was the same.
But he did make his $24 million,
yeah.
But you know what, Tay, I think you're right. I think there is a perception aspect to it, too. I mean, you look at Kirk Cousins, and I think,
just feels like they don't value him.
Yeah, I mean, he looks at it, I'm not a franchise quarterback. You don't trust me with a 5-6 year contract. And so I think players want to be valued as I'm your guy for the next 5 years. And long-term security and more money obviously comes along with that.
Yeah, and wouldn't it be kind of interesting, especially because we don't see, at least I haven't seen a lot of quarterbacks be this position because it is the top 5 salary percentage. Mm-hmm. And usually quarterbacks are right at number 1.
Yeah.
Probably followed by defensive ends.
That's why Jimmy Garoppolo signed for such a big contract, because if they had to franchise him, it was going to probably be in $20 million or so.
That's good. I forgot to mention that those are projections. I think maybe by the new league year start, we'll know the salary cap number for 2018 for the NFL, and then they'll know exactly. But I think overthecap.com is saying Lawrence at his position would be tagged for almost $18 million this year.
Absolutely. We polled our fans, and we will have your guys' answer when we come back from our first break. That is next here on Talkin Cowboys.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
What does it mean to be a Dallas Cowboys fan? It means you've got the passion and the heart to do your part supporting the boys no matter what. That's why when the game's on the line, you're on your feet, whether you're at home or in the stands. Actually, you're more than a fan. You are a member of Cowboys Nation, and so is AT&T, doing their part to keep you connected to America's team all season long. AT&T is a proud member of Cowboys Nation.
Ice Cold Dr. Pepper and the Dallas Cowboys go way back. They belong together, like Texas and football, silver and blue, shotgun formations and Hail Marys. Having a Cowboys football party without Dr. Pepper is like having Thanksgiving without the Cowboys. Basically, we wouldn't recommend it. So, next time you have a tailgate, home gate, or whatever else kind of gate, grab some ice cold Dr. Pepper for you and your friends to enjoy. It's a Dallas Cowboys tradition. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
To work this big land, you need equipment with values rooted as deep in Texas soil as you are. Like John Deere compact tractors with a 6-year powertrain warranty and big features that help you work less so you have more time to do what you love. John Deere was first in the Texas fields, and we're proud to be on the field as the official ag and turf equipment of the Dallas Cowboys. Find Texas-sized deals at myjohndeerdealer.com/football. Terms, conditions, exclusions, and warranty limitations apply. See dealer for details.
This is Talkin Cowboys.
A true cowboy loves his freedom, and Tommy John gives you that feeling of freedom where it counts, with a contour pouch and fabrics you can barely feel, Mick. Shop exclusive Cowboys underwear at TommyJohn.com/Cowboys for 20% off your first order. TommyJohn.com/Cowboys.
Very good, Rob. Thank you. And Rob, we talked about it yesterday as we were getting ready for today, and we did a first ever 2-poll Tuesday.
Yeah, we doubled up, didn't we?
Because we wanted to see what the fans were thinking about DeMarcus Lawrence, because obviously we don't get enough tweets about it.
We don't, yeah. Big topic this week, and hey, simple question on that subject. If it's up to you guys, what do you do with old D-Law? Do you franchise him, or do you go ahead and give him a long-term deal with all that upfront money Mickey was talking about?
What'd they say?
They said 56% say back that Brinks truck up and just unload,
dump it
in his backyard. 56% say give him the long-term deal. What do you think about that, Brian?
I make him play for it.
You franchise him?
Yeah, I do. I make him play. And, and it's not my money, but I'm going to make him play one more year. And I'm going to say, listen, you have another year where you have 14, 15, 16 sacks. You got my attention. And it might be an expensive proposition to me, but these contracts are so important. and the long term. You know, we're all complaining now about Des Bryant's contract, and when it was signed,
we all agreed with it.
Many years ago, we were all, hey, this is what the going rate is for a wide receiver. But I mean, you're talking. I was trying to figure out who is DeMarcus Lawrence.
Are you looking at health?
I'm looking at what type of player he is. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, are you Olivier Vernon? Are you a Calais Campbell? Are you Everson Griffin? Are you Cameron Jordan? Are you Michael Bennett? I'm trying to figure out what kind of player he is, because those are the guys right now that are getting paid. And if you could tell me if in my evaluation that he is clearly better than one of those guys, then I'm okay with this. Then I'm okay with you guys wanting to back up the truck, and I respect that. I'm going to make him play one more year. And you know what? And knowing going in, you know, Jerry Jones is a gambler at heart. Mm-hmm. He really, really is. He gambles on oil wells all the time. And, you know, if they hit, he looks like a genius. If it doesn't hit, he looks like an idiot. But I'm just going to make this guy play one more year under that $18 million. Mm-hmm. A lot of money for him, by the way.
If I told you I thought he was Cameron Jordan, would you sign him to a long-term deal?
$11 million a year for Cameron Jordan. That's what I'm looking at right there.
I could do that.
But see, that's what I'm saying, Mickey. I don't know. With Rob's, we're about to pay him $18 million.
Right.
Can I convince him to play for 11? That's my problem.
So I saw an interesting kind of twist on the Calais Campbell contract, because it came out, it was 4 years, $60 million.
Right.
Yeah, just remind everyone what Calais Campbell got last year when he signed with the Jags.
4 years, $60 million.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
$30 million was guaranteed.
Correct.
Wow. But they only gave him a $6 million signing bonus. And the guarantees were basically the $6 million signing bonus, his $9 million base salary in 2017, and his $15 million base salary in 2018. So essentially, it's a 2-year deal, and if they didn't want to pay the big base salaries of 15 and 15 the next 2 years, it would only cost them $3 million in dead money, or $3.2 million in dead money to get out of it.
That kind of reminds me of, remember Albert Hainsworth got a $100 million deal a few years ago?
Yeah, and it was
really like a $50 million deal that they could opt out of after a couple seasons.
Right.
So you can
guarantee him basically that $11 million or for 2 years.
Right.
And if I'm wrong, then it doesn't cost me, but I don't know that they would agree to that.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is.
And Calais Campbell was older, right?
He is.
Let me look how old he is.
Yeah, you got it, Tay.
I'll find it.
But yeah, you're going to have to be creative in the way you structure it. I totally agree with you on that. And the way they did it sounds very reasonable. I'm trying to find what the player is, and I'm trying to think of what type of guy. Because again, if I'm going to make a commitment, the way that Mickey described the way that Calais Campbell's deal was done makes absolute sense. It does,
because it gives
you an out.
He gets his money,
but you get an out.
But you get an out.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I want to be able to escape, and this is why I'm making him play one more year, because I'm trying to figure out. I'm willing to pay DeMarcus Lawrence if he has another year like he did, and I know good well that it might be the most expensive thing that I ever do, but if he proves to me he can do it one more time, then I'm all in. You know what? You proved me wrong. Here's your. I think you negotiate better that way. If somebody comes in and all of a sudden it's like, and you're challenging him. Okay, go get that extra. I'll give you an extra $2, $3, $4 million if in fact you have the type of season you had the previous year.
The poll says give him a long-term deal. The comments agree with you for the most part. Jason checks in and says, I would use basically what you said. I'd tag him, let him play it out. I want to see him do it again instead of just 1 year before committing that much money. If he has another good year.
But he had 8 sacks. He's had 8 sacks before. I mean, he has done some things.
If he has another good year, then pay him as a 26-year-old pass rusher with big money in 2019.
I'd have no problem with that.
The only thing that's held him back has been his health.
Yeah.
2 back surgeries, not this year, though.
And a broken bone in his foot.
That's
his rookie year.
Yeah. Sure. Rookie year, yeah.
9 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
the problem is, how do you replace that position if you don't commit to him?
He's a damn good football player.
You know?
He really is. And he's recommitted himself, his body, hopefully the health and all that. I mean, you watch him play. But I'm gonna take advantage of this tag. I'm gonna take advantage of this tag, and I'm gonna pay him a pretty good chunk of money. Not pretty good, a great chunk of money. I'm giving him $18 million. Prove to me that you're an $18 million a year player.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
Now, the other part of this, though, is if you do that, then you've basically shot your wad in free agency.
Yep.
That's true. But we've always come with the analogy, though, of signing our own.
Yeah.
If it's your own guy.
Right.
You're not a big player in free agency to begin with.
But if you do that, and I can't imagine now they can create space.
I sure can.
But that's going to take up basically all they had available. You can create space, but you're going to need $5.5 million to sign your draft class.
Yeah.
And then you need another almost $2.5 million if you're going to put the second round tag on David Irving.
Right.
And then you're basically saying, Hitch, go on to Indianapolis. We can't afford you.
Yeah, I've in my mind.
We already said goodbye.
With Matt Eberflus, his position coach, now being the defensive coordinator in Indianapolis, and with Indianapolis with $70 million in cap space, which I believe is the second most in the league. In my mind, Mickey, I've moved on from there. That's just me. But is
Tremaine Edmonds available in the draft?
Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I feel like though that the way the $5 million, the $3 million, whatever you have to do, you can create. And maybe it is about going to get the money from Dez.
Yeah.
Maybe it is about goodbye Orlando Scandrick. Maybe it is.
Yeah, but see, the Scandrick one concerns me because his base salary is only $3 million next year.
Right.
And if you say buy, he cost you $3.88 million in dead money.
Yeah, so one of those.
No, you're right.
By subtraction.
Right. Yeah,
I don't know about
that's
that.
True.
I mean,
that's the thing.
Catch-22.
Unless you just and that would be another $3.88 million, right?
Yeah.
Mickey, isn't that such a Scandrick problem to have?
Yes, it is.
It is the most Scandrick thing ever. That you can't win. You can't.
Yeah. You got to decide, are these young guys ready? Do you not need him as a stabilizing presence back there? And the other thing about creating money, you could do the thing that they've done in the past. You could restructure guys, but do you really want to kick the can down the road with a Tyron Smith or a Sean Lee or guys like that? I don't know if you want to do that.
Got a question for y'all. I wasn't here the offseason when they made the decision to release DeMarcus Ware, and obviously following that was the draft of DeMarcus Lawrence. Now, was there ever a discussion about doing something with DeMarcus Ware as far as franchise tagging him or how you're going to handle him? I don't.
Oh, no, they released him.
Yeah. I know they released him, but
you can't franchise him.
I'm talking before they released him.
No, he had a contract.
Yeah.
They released him. They ate salary cap money for dead money.
He never got franchised in his career. It was always Spencer, right?
Yeah.
Because it was the Spencer thing was, I don't know if he had injuries back then, but it was, hey, how consistent can you be? I think we're better off, like Brian saying, oh, well, 1 year we'll give you a lot of money, but let's prove it, And I get Brian's point. That's the dilemma. He's been productive when he's been healthy, and they love him.
The Ware thing is they thought wear and tear had caught up with him and that they had to get some salary cap money and they didn't want to pay the base salary he had coming because of the injuries. He was pretty beat up that last season. He needed surgeries, I think, on his wrist, his elbow.
And banged up.
He was very fortunate. And while Denver signed him to a 3-year deal, they were a very conservative 3-year deal. So, it's not comparable.
Yeah, I was just saying.
The guy that makes the most sense to go get money from would be Travis Frederick.
Yep, you could restructure him.
Because it sounds like you could get $7.3 million if you restructured his deal.
So essentially, if you have a big contract, right, and you have a big contract, you can almost expect nowadays to be having restructuring contract talks pretty much every year.
Oh, yeah. Cowboys have done it for years. What you do is you convert it into signing bonus, and it lowers the cap hit to where it's really not an issue for you.
Players love it.
Now all of a sudden you got space. Yeah, you're handed a check.
Money.
They're giving me another signing bonus.
They take you out to dinner and they
back up that Brinks truck to your back door.
Man,
Yeah, that's the one. Both he and Tyron Smith are both in the $7 million range. Des Bryant on a restructures in the 5-7 range.
What about Witten?
Lee?
Lee is in the over $3 million.
They've restructured him before. They've restructured Tyron before.
Crawford is at 3.4.
I don't think you want to do Witten.
Yeah, Witten is 3.5. So the one, if you're worried about kicking the can on Tyron Smith, your logical one would be Frederick, because he seems to be the one that seems to be the longevity
from a health standpoint,
longevity aspect. Yes,
and then Zach Martin. That's almost like a restructure.
Yeah,
if you can sign him to
you get Zach Martin this year is he's 9.3. Yeah, so his whole thing is he's got no restructure value at all to his contract.
So you just got to redo it. It's kind of like a restructure, but it's signed
they've got
Mickey.
They've got Skandrick down here as a $1 million if you wanted to get money from him. This is over the cap again.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Yeah,
that's the thing with Orlando. He's had his contract redone like 8 times. It feels like, but he's been
very smart about it.
It's always a situation where he's got some security, he's got some years on his deal, but it's never a huge base that really threatens like he's going to be a cap casualty.
No, he has played
it's smart
because he got his money up front.
He did. He played this game very well, and I give him full credit.
Touché,
No. Again, if he's very smart about the way he never put himself in a position like a Brandon Carr, where you were looking at his money and going, well, that's ridiculous.
You're getting too much.
Yeah. So he's always kind of said 2-3 year deals. Always kept the money at the right amount, and then that way you never get questioned about, well, he's not playing to the level of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
So give him credit for that. Did a good job.
Wow. It's just so amazing how even when they do these different things, you can still kind of find the loopholes, figure it out just to work for your team. And, truthfully, someone was asking me this, and you guys know the answer to this. Why did they start the franchise and transition tag? Why was that important to have that in place?
Nobody wanted it.
Well, they didn't want free agency in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this was a concession to say, okay, we're going to give you free agency, but you're going to let us protect.
Yes.
I'm going to protect 1 or 2 or 3 players that I want to keep. But if I protect them, I got to pay them.
I grew up in an era where watching the Cowboys, same team every year with the exception of the draft picks.
So it was very safe to buy jerseys.
Oh, no, very safe. You could buy one guy's jersey and it'd last for 10, 12 years. But, yeah, Mickey's right, though. It got to the point when I was with the Packers in 94, when that all came in, it was like, okay, give us the right to protect one guy. Nobody wanted to lose, just continually lose players. You had to give some type of mechanism to allow the teams to at least protect one guy.
Yeah, that's right. I got to give him credit where credit is due, because you look at the New England Patriots, and in a day and age where we do have free agency and things like this, and they have a dynasty, if you would.
It's unheard of. Tom Brady doesn't. Yeah. Tom Brady's had a new team, a brand new team, like every 3 years.
This is why I have the utmost respect for Brady and Manning and guys like that. They played in the salary cap era, where their team was constantly turned over. The great quarterbacks, the Montanas, the Bradshaws, just go through the list of guys that have played great NFL quarterbacks through history, had the same teams over and over and over again, never with the threat of losing a player.
Like, they've been on this dynasty for 15 years, but how many Patriots are going to get in the Hall of Fame from this 15-year dynasty? Besides
Willie McGinnis?
Maybe, but they don't stick around that long, Maybe Gronk eventually.
They do rotate their team pretty regularly.
You got Brady and Belichick, and then you've got a lot of pieces that have filtered in for 3, 4, maybe 5 years, but it's not like the Rice Montana for 10 years.
Complementary players.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of
incredible.
You look at Peyton Manning. You look at the receivers he's had, the Reggie Waynes and the Marvin Harrisons and those guys. He had the same group. Brady was constantly rotating guys in and out. So, yeah, it's the salary cap quarterbacks are pretty special guys because of what they've had to deal with.
Yeah, that is insanity.
But that just made me think of something. We're talking about this and how to create space. This is an interesting window for the Cowboys, though, because you're not paying your quarterback $200 million right now. You don't have a Romo contract. You're paying, $9 million in dead money for Tony. But, it's kind of like Seattle a few years ago, where they got to 2 Super Bowls, won one, with a quarterback on a rookie contract. It's an opportunity before you've got to make a decision on Dak and what you're paying him to go spend your money elsewhere.
That will come this year.
Yeah.
You're gonna have this discussion, after next season if you want to extend him, and again that might mean you're thinking about the stuff with Lawrence. Maybe that's why you make Lawrence have to play on that 1-year deal, because you're thinking about I might have to do my quarterback next year. Or start to think about doing my quarterback next year.
Does he have more than a 3-year deal?
He got a 4-year.
He got a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to do anything.
Yeah.
No, you could play it out 4 years if you want.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you don't have that 5th-year option with him.
Yeah.
And then tag him.
Man, the thought of tagging someone is just a funny phrase.
Tag, you're it.
Tag, you're it.
No, if Lawrence gets $18 million, he should just go ahead and sign. Seriously. They offer that's
I would sign it, but it's a different world that we live in.
It's guaranteed money.
It is.
It's guaranteed money.
it is.
And we've talked about the health issues too. God forbid something happens to him in the off season, but that's his money once it happens.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to take our final break from Talkin Cowboys, and when we come back, we will be talking about more money decisions and what we would do at certain positions. Join us when we come back.
Cowboys fans know that the second best of anything simply won't cut it, and your skincare should be no different. A longtime locker room favorite of the players and the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Dallas-based Jack Black is the #1 best-selling men's skincare brand in the country because we make products that help guys look, smell, and feel better. Visit getjackblack.com/cowboys to get $10 off your first order of $50 or more. Jack Black. Look good, smell good, feel good. Official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
I hear all this talk about what it takes to be a cowboy. Everyone's got their ideas, but I just say to myself, it's what's up top that matters. Sure, you need men with the muscle and heart to get her done, but if your scouts and coaches are listening out there, a word of advice. Pick the man with the most well-worn Stetson. That's the one most cut out to be a cowboy. Stetson hats are handmade right here in Texas and have been on cowboys' heads for over 150 years. The rest of you can visit Stetson.com/cowboy to find a retailer nearest you.
What does it mean to be a Dallas Cowboys fan? It means you've got the passion and the heart to do your part supporting the boys no matter what. That's why when the game's on the line, you're on your feet, whether you're at home or in the stands. Actually, you're more than a fan. You are a member of Cowboys Nation, and so is AT&T, doing their part to keep you connected to America's team all season long. AT&T is a proud member of Cowboys Nation.
This is Talkin Cowboys.
And you guys know why Papa John's pizza tastes so great?
Why?
Well, you've heard of the pepperoni, right?
Oh, yeah. I have.
Well, they still got the special going for $10.
Yes.
You can get a deep pan pizza or a large pizza, and they'll have dual layers of pepperoni on there. That means you get twice as much 100% pork and beef on your pizza, and when you get pepperoni like that, it can only be Papa John's.
Woo! That's great stuff. I think you could always go for Papa John's. It's always National Pizza Day somewhere.
Any time of day.
All right, Rob. Well, we did the 2-poll Tuesday here, and the other one was to get it more into the discussion because obviously DeMarcus Lawrence, his free agency is going to affect a lot of other things. I mean, we've already talked about Anthony Hitchens. We've talked about Dez Bryant. The poll leads to that.
Yeah, if you had unlimited cap space, Tay, and Brian and Mickey, which position would you spend it on? And I gave you 4 options. Tay and I talked this one out. Defensive end, linebacker, a couple key free agents at those 2 spots, offensive line, or wide receiver. Give me a choice. Back that Brinks truck up and pay 1 spot to help fortify this team for 2018.
It's too hard to answer.
Why? Why is it too hard?
I don't know who you're spending money on. Which one of those 4 positions has the best option to pay some?
What do you mean?
Well, look at the list of free agent wide receivers right now. None of them had a better year than Dez. Do I want to spend big money on one of those guys? Probably not. So you got to tell me who's available at linebacker. If all was equal, then probably I would spend it on the offensive line. I'd get
on a depth guy.
I'd go get me a guard
or a starting left guard. Okay, Ryan.
Boy, I tell you what, it's good. I'm looking up because did you go buy a quarterback?
Oh no! Now you got a write-in vote for the QB.
Hello, pigeon.
No, but
Drew Brees.
But look at it.
Drew Brees.
He ain't going nowhere.
I'm just saying.
No, but
unlimited money, right?
I don't know that you're going to get a
Kirk Cousins
Pro Bowl quarterback, but you're going to need one.
All right. Yeah, that's
right.
All right, eliminate. Okay, think about this. If you think about the top guys, just the top guys, and these guys getting tagged, like Lawrence, Bell, are those guys already tagged? I can't get those guys. I can't get Le'Veon Bell.
Is he supposed to get?
Well, no, I'm just asking because.
But he's gonna. That's why.
Okay, well then, Jarvis Landry.
Okay,
he's gonna get re-signed. Don't you think?
No, I just got unlimited money. I'm going to money whip somebody to get one of these guys.
One of those guys, they're going to get either tagged or re-signed before even free agency starts.
It's just okay. Can we just think?
What was Jarvis Landry's numbers?
Jarvis Landry's numbers coming. I don't have the stats in front of me. I'm just asking because I'm looking at the top.
We don't even have to talk specific players here. These guys aren't free agents.
Just the position.
Position. Look at these positions. Okay. What's the most important spot they got to fix?
Guard. Okay. I'll go get a guard.
Guard.
Yes, I'll go get a guard.
You think that's? You look at the team and say, offensive line failed them consistently. Wasn't a consistent.
If you watched the draft show yesterday, we had a huge argument. Would you give next year's one to go get Quentin Nelson from Notre Dame?
Uh-huh.
You know, and Dane and Dave argued correctly. I mean, they were like, no, I wouldn't. You know, but if you thought if you could spend money and go get like the best player at his position, you know, it's like this Andrew Norwell, from Carolina. Justin Pugh from the Giants. I mean, those are good players. If you could let me go buy one of those guys, that fixes my left guard spot.
Well, the winner was defensive end at 40%. And to me, that says
they want to buy Lawrence.
You got to keep Lawrence. You got to do what you can to keep Lawrence, whether it's franchise tag or just lock him up.
So you're giving him all the money then, is what you're saying. I didn't know if we were including our own players.
Oh, it can be, sure.
Okay, well, if that's the case, yeah.
What's that?
Because he's
defensive end.
Yeah, him or Ziggy Ansah are the two best defensive ends in free agents.
And by the way, I was thinking of somebody else at wide receiver because Landry led the league with 112 catches.
Yeah, I didn't know.
987 yards and 9 touchdowns.
All right.
So he is not going to be available.
Yeah, but we have unlimited money, right, Rob?
He's not going to be available.
Yeah, it's an uncapped year, Brian. Do whatever you want.
See,
no franchise tag?
Yeah, no tag.
He's not going to be available.
Okay, then
give me somebody that's going to be available.
Huh?
Give me a wide receiver that's going to be available.
Why do you automatically think that Jarvis isn't? Just because.
Well, Miami would have lost their mind if you had a guy that caught 112 passes for 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns, and you said, go into free agency.
I was very surprised with what they did with Jay Ajayi. I mean, it turned out to be that they were having different issues, and that guy was a young running back for them. It was just the deal was right.
Yeah, it's the Patriots. Nate Solder from the left tackle from the Patriots. He's one of the better ones in the league. They can let him walk. I mean, I don't know. I just was trying to think.
He wasn't very good in the Super Bowl game.
If you think you're going to lose Hitchens, then you've got to figure out a way to replace his snaps. And I don't know if the free agency is the best route.
Well, so you
it's
said
a deep linebacker draft, so maybe that's the way you do it. But I look at that spot and say, you know. What?
So was linebacker second?
Hang on one second.
Cowboy fans are screaming for wide receivers.
Yeah, I know.
They're screaming for wide receivers. They don't care about the current guys they got on their team. If they had unlimited funds, they'd go get Jarvis Landry. They'd try, or Allen Robinson. They're not thinking about, they're not thinking about that.
Wide receiver was second, 26%.
There you go.
And linebacker.
Cowboy fans have had enough of the wide receivers around here.
Well, Sanjay Lal could come in and
whip him into
some
shape.
magic. Yeah, we'll see.
I understand about the defensive end, and if you said it, if I had to back it up and I could sign Lawrence, but then again, I just told you I'd make him play for one more year. I would pick another position. I would go take a guard. Pick a guard that could, not a Band-Aid. Pick a real guard, and you could pay if it's unlimited. Sure, But
guard might make your wide receivers better.
Mickey told you the problems with the team last year was the offensive line. Why don't you try and fix that?
Is guard a position you feel comfortable spending a lot of money in?
You're about to sign a huge contract to Zach Martin. That tells you how important guard is to this team.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking what you've already invested money-wise.
Yeah,
it makes sense to go draft it.
But you said it was unlimited, right? You said
it didn't matter, right?
I know.
Because it's limited, I would not do that.
Taylor's like, it's that she's putting herself into the bushes now.
Oh, yeah, I'm that meme right now.
The Homer Simpson gift.
The Homer Simpson just back into the bushes.
Yeah. See, the linebacker thing is all dependent on what they project Jalen Smith to be.
That is true.
Can he play 60 plays a game for 16 games at a high level?
And with an eye on Sean Lee being 30 years old, and how many snaps do you want him to play every game?
I want him on the field every play he's healthy.
Yeah, I know you do, but he, had the hamstring stuff a couple different times.
I get you.
So,
but it was a weird hamstring.
Does it reach a point with Sean where you want him more quality snaps?
That's going to have to be a draft choice.
Let me ask you this. Navarro Bowman or Anthony Hitchens?
26 years old or 30-some?
For a couple years, a year. To maybe help you with that whole thing with – I'm thinking –
But he would be an insurance policy.
Exactly. But I'm saying I wouldn't have to commit. I can make sure that Jalen Smith is ready.
See, I need an insurance policy that was better than Justin Durant.
Yeah. Navarro.
Just in case I'm wrong about Jalen Smith.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Navarro Bowman is that guy to me.
Yeah, it is.
What you scared me with was insurance policy. And I say that because, and this is a little bit different, but I felt like this team thought they were doing an insurance policy with Alfred Morris and Darren McFadden. And then look what happened there.
But they were. I mean, the insurance policies can't be real expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you may not use them.
That's true.
Navarro Bowman's 30.
30?
30 years old.
And Hitch is 26.
Yeah, and he played almost 1,000 snaps last year in the NFL. 999. So, how about Nigel Bradham from the Eagles? He's 29 years old. He's an inside linebacker. You probably have to pay for him a little bit.
You might have to pay. He's looking for starter money.
Okay.
Already getting tweets about Cushing and Jarrell Freeman.
No.
Oh, Brian Cushing got released.
I know. We get these tweets every time, Brian.
I know. I live it.
You do.
I live it. I'm asking again because, okay, I said about Bradham. He's 29. He played almost 1,000 snaps as well. They're talking about it's a position that rarely gets paid.
And they've got salary cap problems themselves, by the way.
Sure.
They've got about 4 guys that they need to re-sign, and they're not going to be able to do it because they're already over the cap.
If you knew a lot about Bradham as compared to Hitchens, if you said, okay.
Which one's cheaper?
Which one's better? Which one's better?
I want to keep Hitchens. I want to keep a guy that I know and that can play any spot.
See, Cowboy fans hate you right now, Rob.
Why?
I'm with you.
And then Mickey, they hate you too.
Why?
No, they just do.
Because we love hope and we love the unknown and
because fans love the hope and the unknown.
We love the other guy.
We love the other guy. We've seen Hitchens play.
So
that's their attitude.
My yearly question to those folks are: would you bet your salary on that decision? Because you don't have to bet it, right? It's free money. It's like playing fantasy football.
Monopoly.
But what if you made $80,000 a year and you were wrong and you don't get paid? You lose your $80,000. Would you make that decision? Or would you be a little bit more conservative?
See, Hitchens is the youngest of the group. He's 26.
Can you afford to be conservative?
Yes. I can't afford to have dead money because I make bad decisions.
Got two players sitting on that for that right
You
now.
know, Philadelphia, everybody talks about the guys they hit on. They had guys they missed on, too, by the way.
Sure they did.
Look at the misses that the Giants made, and they're going to have to pay for those.
Yeah, I saw you had Olivier Vernon.
It's not fantasy football. There's money involved here, real money. And it's not just salary cap either. It's real money. So I just say, when you make a decision like that, just judge it on, can I lose my job over that if I make a mistake?
Not an easy question. Not an easy question.
Nope.
That's right. It's just so tricky. I mean, the draft is tricky. This whole free agency is tricky. Because I was watching something, Talkin Cowboys came on actually, and you guys were sitting there discussing what they were going to be doing with this entire secondary basically having contract years. This was a year ago. You know, and that's where you were at last year. And then what they did was they said, okay, we have more young guys coming in the draft, and we're going to really saturate our draft with young DBs.
It's all about cost control. You've got to have those fair rookie deals, and then if they prove it to you, then you pay them. That's really the best franchises have done that. The teams that have been in the playoffs year after year, you see it. Pittsburgh does it, and it all hinges on how well you draft. And the teams that spend the most in free agency are the ones that draft the poorest.
They would have won the bet on the defensive backs had those guys stayed healthy. They would have won it earlier. I think they won it later.
I think they feel pretty good about it.
Now. But I'm saying if they were healthy all through training camp, we would have seen them considerably earlier, and it would have helped out. They wasted time with
Nolan Carroll. By the way, the Eagles only have $500,000 in dead money.
Yeah, but they're over the cap already, right?
Just keep kicking those Cowboy fans, Brian.
No, I'm just asking. Ron Brooks and Nate Gary are the only two guys they have dead money on their thing right now. So, yeah, their cap space, Mickey is right. They're $9.6 million over.
And they've got like 3 or 4 starters that are either free agents, either starters or prime backups that they've got to pay.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, I hope we offered you something, because we've spent almost an hour talking about all of this, and it's not an exact science at all.
No, not at all. No. I think we've talked about it. You know, they've tried to nibble in free agency, and this last last couple years, it largely has not worked for them. And
they need to get back on that. They used to have a time where they were able to find some guys and be better. The pro department, they need to get back on that train where they were rolling along, and they spent some money on some guys that just can't play, and they need to, of course, they need to change the direction there if they're going to do that.
But how do you do that?
Oh no,
you change the direction of what you're looking for, or
you just got to be right.
You got to be better at it. The depth issue is that's how the Eagles. You look at how they were able to survive it. The depth they drafted. They had a couple guys again.
Made some trades.
You look at what they were able to do with their guys. I mean, they went and signed Nick Foles. I mean, that was huge for them. They didn't think they were going to lose Carson Wentz. They lost him. So yeah, they've. I'm just talking again about the Eagles and just kind of looking through their thing. Timmy Jernigan was a guy they traded for, one of their better players in the defensive line. Torrey Smith was a guy that they signed.
Oops.
Yeah,
that was an oops. They paid Torrey Smith
$5 million.
Right?
Yeah, he got $5 million
for 30-some catches.
Well, then Alshon Jeffrey was a guy. Alshon Jeffrey was basically a veteran minimum, 3.9.
Right.
Before they redid him. Nelson Aguilar finally played for him. That was a draft pick that you kind of look. Chris Long, that's another one. I mean, they hit on some guys that they bottom fish for some guys and got the guys to come in and play at a high level. Cowboys haven't had that in a while. Haven't had some bottom fishing guys come in and be difference makers.
See, and they're in a situation now where Peter's base salary is going to be pretty high, and they're debating if they want to keep him.
Well, because
36 years old,
they got a guard.
And they found a guy that could take over and play for him, right?
Yep.
Vitae.
Yeah.
His cap number is $10 million.
Yeah.
It's what Peters is.
So they figure they could save some of that base salary. I think it's the last year is probably his signing bonus is about ready to expire anyway.
Yeah,
so they've got some tough decisions to make.
They would have if they post 1 or post June 1, he would count $3.6 million in dead money, is what he would be on his contract. Mm-hmm. So they've got it. I mean, they can get under the cap with some quick decisions. Fletcher Cox, Lane Johnson, guys like that.
Yep,
they could do that.
So at one position we keep ignoring is if you're buying insurance, do you want it at quarterback?
Hey, I don't think we're ignoring that. I think Brian's been throwing those grenades over there.
I just feel like that if we were in 2019 and say that it was a 9-7 season, and you kind of feel like Dak had an okay year.
But I'm not talking about a starter.
No, I'm talking about drafting a guy.
I mean, are you okay?
Oh, I'm talking about drafting a guy in the first round.
This sounds like a great poll.
But is he ready to be your backup?
Not just that. We have like 30 seconds.
I mean,
but no, you bring.
We started late. We're okay.
Are you good with Cooper Rush?
Not just that. Could Dak have benefited from a veteran again as a sounding board? Or is that Kellen Moore's job? It's
Kellen Moore's job.
Okay.
That's Kellen Moore's job.
Was his job last
year. That's how he got the quarterback coach job.
But I'm saying playing. You good with Cooper Rush starting 12 games?
I think in the preseason he gave you some hope. But yeah, I mean,
so did Jamil Showers the year before.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, Brian, I wasn't trying to argue.
No, I don't disagree. I mean, I think that you have to look at the backup quarterback's position. I think he's absolutely right. But do you need to bring somebody in to compete with Cooper Rush? That's why I asked you with the unlimited money, would you go out and get another quarterback?
Because it's going to cost you.
Yeah, go out and get a starter.
I mean, look at what they paid Foles.
Yeah.
They didn't get that for free.
No, that was a good write-in, Brian. And I wasn't thinking specific players. We're just talking like position. And that's a spot.
Like
Nick Foles is $7.6 million.
Next poll question, backup quarterback.
Yep. And we'll be back here next Tuesday at our same time, if not a little bit earlier. Mickey and I will be here, but these guys across the table from us will be in Indy at the Combine.
On vacation in Indy.
Not at all.
State.
Yeah.
Draft show. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And we're working for our money. Absolutely. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone who tuned in. Thanks, Ken. We'll be back next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?